Alright, hi guys, I'm Tracy. Welcome to today's video. So I wanted to put something up really quick regarding the Rephr brushes that are, well, one of them is on sale in the concept store. I have a lot that I'm just not going to go over today, but I'm definitely going to go over the 22 in case if you guys are considering buying it now that it's $65 versus $110. So I wanted to put this up right away. I'm a little fuzzy because I had a migraine today, so excuse me if I feel like I'm kind of struggling here, because I kind of am. But I'm going to go over 1, 2, 3, 4 of their brushes. And except for one, these are all included in the concept store, so they're all heavily discounted. So I figured I would put out a video of the brushes that, too close, the brushes that more likely you guys are considering buying. So and also I wanted to give a big thank you to Rephr. They actually sent me these two that I want to be talking about. I bought the eye set, but they sent me my first I guess PR package or free product for my channel, and I'm really excited. Now I don't want you to think that means that I'm going to be, you know, a spokesperson or a bias for their brushes. I am going to remain as objective as possible. That was one of the things that I set forth before I even started the channel, is that so before I did YouTube and before I had my second child, who's now 4, I was in sales for over 13 years. And I just kept thinking in my head, like, I don't want to do that anymore. I did it for a long time because it was my job and I was okay at it, but it's not how I wanted to spend my career. So hopefully that makes sense. But anyhow, really quick, I want to put this up, you know, in case these go out of stock. I mean, this one eventually will. The eye brushes have been in the concept store for a while. I'm talking about the Crease bundle for $55, which I bought a few weeks ago, and I did a video a little over a week ago on those brushes, and that was just a first impression. So I'm going to talk a little bit more in depth on the eye brushes. I'll do this one last. I'll do the 2 face brushes last really quick, and I'll insert some clips if I have them. I am going to discuss the number 14. Now this one is very almost identical to the Wayne Goss 19. As you can see, they pretty much look identical. The only thing I could maybe differentiate them with is the Rephr. The hairs are a little bit stiffer, a little less flexibility, but also my Wayne Goss is very old. I've used this so many times. So I do feel like, you know, after a lot of use and more washes, this will be almost interchangeable with the Wayne Goss 19. So like when I'm looking for a blending brush, I don't really have a preference, one or the other, which is great because this is one of my favorite brushes, my first Fude brush ever. So that's really great that that one is kind of an alternative to the 19. Another one that I've been really enjoying is the Rephr 13. And this one is very reminiscent of the Hakuhodo J5529, which is one of my most used little blending brushes. I believe the length is the same. And so I think what is, you know, allowing me to see a difference is the Hakuhodo is generally Saikoho. But if Hakuhodo is producing the Rephr brushes, when I talked to the rep at the Hakuhodo showroom, he says they don't do this grading system with the goat hairs. Like the goat hairs they have are the goat hairs, the squirrel hairs are the squirrel hairs. You know, they don't really like get different grades and make brushes with certain ones versus the others. So but I haven't really confirmed with the company that Hakuhodo does produce the Rephr brushes. But if I had to just guess, not knowing that, It would seem like the Rephr brushes are more Sokoho grade and Hakuhodo is more Saikoho grade. But when I'm doing this, it's very similar, and just by doing this, I don't think I can tell a difference. And I'll insert a clip of me using the Rephr one, just like how I would use the Hakuhodo J5529. So hopefully you guys can see how that one is in action. Another one I've been enjoying is the Rephr 15. This is the largest of the blending brushes that comes in that set. And just because of the size and the fact that I don't really use large blending brushes for my eyes, I've been using this for concealer and it's been working out great for both the under eye and right here. And I have a clip of me doing that. And it works pretty much identical to the Wayne Goss 16, which I've been using for concealer for a long time. It's just slightly smaller, and the results are pretty much identical. So, you know, if you're gonna get the set and you don't really need a big blending brush, it works great for concealer. All right, so now we're gonna get onto the face brushes. The number 4, I believe this is not in the concept store, but I took some notes here so that I could give you guys some comparisons. So when I picked this one up and felt it, it instantly reminded me of the Hakuhodo J4003, which I don't have, but I considered getting when I was in the showroom. And this brush in particular is amazingly soft. The hairs feel silkier and softer, even on the face. It really, it has kind of that like a buffing feel, like I'll insert a clip of me doing that. I feel like it's a great like buffing blush brush, and I'm really impressed by the way this one felt. And I don't have the Hakuhodo one, but I would say very almost identical as far as the feel, the specs, the angle. This one is a little bit more angled, I believe, than the Hakuhodo one, but very imperceptible differences between this one and the J4003. And just for size comparison, I'll compare it to the G511 and the B512. It's kind of in between those two, except of course the hairs are different and the Rephr is denser. So this one is it's not very dense. It's maybe similar density to the B512, but you know, smaller and different hairs. So for size comparison, you can see it. I think online this one looks a little smaller than it actually is. It's a fairly, I would say, medium-sized angled blending brush. Okay, so now to the special brush, the 22. When I picked this up and I felt the hairs, it instantly reminded me of the Hakuhodo B531, except it's not angled. So the length of the hairs are the same. No. This one is 48 millimeters and the other one is 45. So this one is actually longer than the B531. But as far as the density, now I didn't get the 531, but I did include it in the showroom, Hakuhodo showroom video. And I just remember thinking it was such a dense brush. And that's exactly what I thought when I picked this one up. It's extremely dense. And I'll show a clip of me putting on bronzer and powder with this brush. And I don't have one that's quite as dense. If anything I can compare it to is the Koyudo BP13, which as you can see is much shorter and is actually not as dense. I think the Rephr one is denser. I mean, I haven't washed these, so I can't say for certain, but going like this brush, the Koyudo, is a little coarser. Like when I do this, it feels kind of like coarse. This one feels silky, but they're both dense, and the ferrule is very similar in size. But of course, this one I washed. So I think after being used and washed, this one is going to be even fluffier than this and longer than this. So for those of you who like doing a very large bronzer application, I think this is a really good one. I don't use the Koyudo one a whole lot. I'm not sure why. I just tend to do my bronzer with a smaller brush. But if you are someone that likes to use a big brush and kind of like all over dust the bronzer to kind of like warm up your entire face, this is a good one. And also if you wanted to target like the perimeter of your face and the high points of your cheeks, I think this is a good one. Also, when I did the powder, it's a pretty heavy powder application because, you know, it's goat hair and it's such a dense brush. I did like the shape that it kind of melded to my face, you know, so you really did get, you know, everywhere. You didn't feel like you were missing. It's very hot today, so I'm sweating, so kind of hard to powder today, but I don't know if hope you guys can see. It has like a good reach. Like if you put it here, it'll really like get all over, and it will disperse the powder evenly, just in a heavy way. It's not going to provide, you know, a light application like this Bisyoto, which is Daisaiko goat hair and is a lot sparser of a brush. So this is my largest and densest brush that I have, or the longest hairs, I believe, and I do think for $65 this is a really great deal. You're not going to find a brush of this quality for that price. So that's what I think. I think if you don't have a brush like this, then I think it's a great opportunity to get a very large blending brush or powder brush. But if you're not someone that uses a very large powder or bronzing brush like myself, maybe it doesn't make sense. So I don't think I would have spent my own money on this even at $65, simply because I don't use this one and I don't use my bronzer in that way. Also, I bought the 24, which has been working out great for bronzer for me. This is a better size. I prefer the 24 or the Hakuhodo B110, which is right here. These are my ideal size bronzer brushes, and this is kind of, the 24 kind of is more reminiscent of the B110, but the Hakuhodo is a little softer and a little sparser. But that's just me. I generally don't make use of my large powder brushes. So that's all I wanted to put out for today. I do have a lot of new brushes, including the Sanyoji Fusion brushes. I got 2 of them. I filmed a video, I just haven't put it together, so I will be hopefully putting that together in the next few days. Okay, so I hope that helps you guys if you're looking at the Rephr sale or looking at getting one of the bundles. I do think the Crease bundle is worth it. It was worth it for me, and I'm not sad that I spent the $55 to get that, nor am I regretting the $35 for the 24. So really happy with the purchases, and I have not really gotten a good feel for the newer ones that they sent me. So that's really all I have for today. I'll be updating this video with more of the Rephr brushes, and also do a follow-up to some of the ones that I got before that I didn't talk about today. Okay, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.